I am going to get started with today's presentation, which of course is managing and monitoring your Nureva system. That's right. We're going to do a deep dive on a few things today on how to specifically monitor and manage your devices. That being said, let's get into it. So to give a brief overview on specifically what we're talking about today, first I'm going to talk about the evolution of Nureva device management. We've got a few tools that we've had over the years, and recently have really brought that Nureva app online. Very handy tool. We'll do a deep dive on that specifically, the console and the app, and explain everything about them, their inner workings, and just about everything you need to know. And then we're going to talk about offline device management, because we also recognize that sometimes you just can't have these devices on the network due to multiple reasons. So without further ado, let's talk about Nureva's device management tools specifically. In the beginning, these were introduced at the same time. Console client and console cloud. Each had a distinct role. The HDL3 systems unfortunately lacked a built-in compute module, and the client-based USB devices to connect to the cloud, as earlier device models lacked this. So what we've done was we introduced these these two applications to allow you to effectively manage your devices. From there, we brought in the Nureva app. This is a different way to talk to devices. Browser agnostic. It doesn't require any software. Then we phase out the client, but not supporting those who need those offline tools. And like I said, I'll touch on that in a little bit. But specifically, now we have the Nureva Console and the Nureva App. And the big difference is the Nureva Console is, of course, an online tool, and the Nureva App is an in-room tool. And that's the thing. Nureva Console is really for managing and monitoring devices at scale from anywhere. Allows you to enroll multiple devices and manage them effectively anywhere in the world as long as you have a stable internet connection. The difference, of course, the Nureva app is more for setting up and managing individual devices. It's accessed via the web, iOS, Android, and Windows PCs. So again, browser agnostic. You can use Chrome, you can use Edge, Safari, that sort of thing. It's going to allow you to log into the console and manage it from, like I said, anywhere, or the app itself. Now, to break this down a little bit more, of course, remote management with Nureva Console, be in control anywhere from a single secure intelligent dashboard. And that's what we're seeing here. As I mentioned, it's remote management to manage all of your systems from anywhere. Intelligent monitoring to always know your rooms are ready. You've got that heads up dashboard. How many rooms do you have? What state are they in? There's analytics and insights with valuable data to make informed decisions. We're going to dig into those analytics here in just a minute. And of course, automatic email alerts to help you address potential issues before they could impact a meeting. If you got a room that goes down, say overnight for whatever reason, have an email pop up letting you know that that's happened and you can address that room before it becomes a problem. Of course, in-room management with the Nureva app. Well, if you're not familiar, this acoustic check tool, and we've been talking about this, all these webinars that we do, the acoustic check tool is there to help you find the ideal placement of components. It's going to allow you a read on the reverberance of the space, and it'll allow you to go through and measure any noise in the room. That will be a calibrated app, as it is calibrated to the microphones in the iOS device. Again, does not work for Android devices, specifically the acoustic check, but it does work for iOS devices. Otherwise, everything else on the Nureva app will work for both types of devices. We provide setup and tuning tools to simplify device installation. We're going to take a look at those. And of course, flexible support and maintenance tools to keep devices up to date. You can update devices on the fly as you're going. Multiple options for connecting gives you flexibility. We'll dig into those and talk about all the different ways to connect up and use an Nureva app. And that's what we're into next, connecting over the network. Now, we really want you guys to connect these things online where and if possible. Multiple reasons to do it, and we'll get into that here as we explore the console itself. The procedure itself is very straightforward. Connect your device to the network. We've got this network port on the back. Don't confuse it with the two speaker jacks. I know they're both RJ45, but of course the distinct port itself, labeled for the network, that's the one that you'll have to plug into. Then on the bottom, you're going to find an enrollment code. It's a 9-digit code with dashes. It's important that you maintain capitalization and add the dashes when you're entering that code. And you'll do that from the organization that you set up. The first time you log into console.nureva.com, you'll be asked to set up an organization. It only takes a few minutes, sets you up as the owner of the account, and then you can add additional users after. And I'll touch on that here in a few slides. The Nureva app itself, well, all you need is a network connection, and you access it from the same subnet that you're on. And if you can't get it onto the network connection, I'll show you how after we do the upcoming demo, how to do that. But once you've got it connected, you simply access it via its IP address. Again, you have to be on the same subnet. Same with your mobile device, has to be on the same subnet. But you can access it via any of the browsers. Or, of course, if you're using the mobile application, just download that from the App Store, or you can get it on Google Play, depending on the device that you're using. Now, I'd like to do a demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to minimize this screen share, or pardon me, the presentation. There we go. Okay. Oh, digging in a little soon on the analytics. We'll come back to that in just a minute, folks. All right. So what I want to show you here. Well, we got a bunch of stuff. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to enroll the devices. So like I was saying before, you get that thing connected to the network, you retrieve that enrollment code from the bottom, and you set up your organization. And all these instructions can be found on support.nureva.com. Once you've got that enrollment code, you simply click Enroll Devices. You'll come in here, you'll enter the enrollment code, you'll or you enter some additional details like the room name, type, capacity, and tags to help you set that room up. And then from there, it's just a matter of clicking save. I'm just not going to enroll the device live because it tends to show the actual enrollment code, and we don't necessarily want to put that online. However, there's a lot of things that you can see here in the dashboard. So let's go back to the rooms. So this is the initial screenshot that you're going to get. Now, this is just a single device that I have connected. It's at my house here, and I've got an update available. No, I'm not going to click this. This update should only take just a few minutes, but I'm not going to get into an update live. But simply, if you do need an update, you will see that here, and it's just a matter of either clicking the update available here, or you can even go into the actions and update your device. So let's take a look at all the things that we can see from the dashboard view. Now, under admin over here, you're going to have details on the organization and users. When I click on the organization, I can see my organization name, and then, of course, who the organization owner is. You can only have one organization owner, but you can assign multiple users. To do so, click on that Users tab. You can see I've got myself set up with a couple different accounts here. I am the owner of said account, but I'm also the admin. Now I can go through and I can invite new users. If I click this, all I need to do is send an email and that will invite that new user. And then from there, if I need to manage those users, well, I can come in here and I can see that I've got my one account set up as an admin account. I can simply remove that. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to add it back in. But what happens if I go to the owner account? Well, let's try something. You cannot remove the owner account specifically. If you do need to make changes to the owner, it's just a matter of contacting support. If you have your current account owner, say, leave your organization, we can change that to a new account owner for you. We just need to know who that is and their email address. And all you have to do is contact support. How do you do that? support@nureva.com. Easiest way to get a hold of us. There's also a phone line that I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you go to our website, it's absolutely displayed at the bottom of every page. Now, a few more things I want to take a look at. Well, there's the API button here. This is to access the development kit and associated documentation. We're not going to dig into that today. We may do a future session specifically on the API, but there is information there. You can also go to what's it, developers.smarttech, or pardon me, wow, developers.nureva.com. Worked for Smart for a long time, folks, so sometimes that creeps back into the brain. But anyway, the next thing we want to take a look at here is, of course, the help page. Great way to get to support. Plus, there's a few other things here just around that legal information. And touching on legal and security information, if you do have some concerns about using the console, please reach out to us, support at nureva.com. We can provide a wealth of information on how awesome and secure these devices are online. We've got these devices in quite a few secure facilities around the world, and these things are absolutely just that, secure. So if you have questions, please let us know. And last thing we get to up top here is just those user settings. And there's some valuable stuff in here. Not only does it allow you to change your name, the email address you can't change. Again, we can help you with that if need be. If you do need to change the email address on your account, again, contact support. But what you can set up here is all your email alerts, and we've got a few different ones. You can be alerted to device updates. Do you have a problem in the room? Something's disconnected or gone offline. Or perhaps you've got a camera issue with a disconnected USB or power cable. Okay. Finally, as I get into the room's dashboard, again, you can see that this is effectively allowing me to manage my devices. If I click onto this device, and I'll do that in just a minute, that's going to bring me directly into the dashboard for that device itself, just like I would be in the room using the Nureva app. The last thing that I want to take a look at here is the analytics. And for that, I'm actually going to click over to a different screen here. So this is an actual 410 system. This is a live 410 system. This is our Ottawa demo room. Some of you may have seen demos in this space. Hope you have. If you haven't seen a demo of our product, boy, you're missing out. Contact us. We'd love to show you. So when I'm looking at analytics, there's a bunch of information here, and we'll kind of go through each one individually. Exploring device usage data can give multiple insights. Whether devices are being used consistently by meeting participants, whether conferencing spaces are being used efficiently, and which conferencing-enabled spaces are the most or least popular. So you can see it just sort of depends on what's happening here. Time of day, you might have a lot of stuff going on in that room. Perhaps it's been a quiet room for a few days, and that may tell you information about how well utilized that room is specifically. So right here, we've got information specifically on background noise levels. And note this is only active when the room is active. What we're going to do is be able to compare background noise levels across multiple rooms. Perhaps you've got one room that's giving you some trouble. How does it compare to other rooms? You can troubleshoot when audio issues are reported. Maybe you had a meeting where people were reporting bad audio. What happened? This background noise information may give you more insight to, of course, proactively detect and correct issues, especially if you see a lot of stuff happening in that room that doesn't effectively look right. And this then allows you to identify where to invest in improving room acoustics. If you've got a specifically noisy room and it's consistently showing up, it might be a matter of perhaps you've got to add in some additional sound attenuation in that room, acoustic reinforcement. It really depends. If you're having concerns or you want to talk more about how to improve a room, support at nureva.com. Always happy to talk to you. Now, the interesting one that we've got here, this is live sound location data. Now, no, this is only for HDL 410 systems. That's why I'm showing you this on a different room. And this is, again, showing how this meeting is specifically being used and whether rooms are being used effectively from a space perspective. And as I can see, I've got several clusters here. I can tell people are walking around this room and they're using it very effectively. And again, this is a big demo room. And last but not least, we've got this chart here for signal noise ratio. And again, you can compare SNR to across multiple rooms and troubleshoot when audio issues are reported. Again, proactively detect and correct issues like you are with the specific background noise measurement. And again, identify where to invest in improving room acoustics. Okay, so next, I'm just going to close this guy out because, again, this is a live room. I don't want to be mucking around in here, but because I've got my demo set up, we're now going to start looking at the app and the console side by side. So this is a preview of the app. But what I want to do is we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to jump in to the dashboard for my device. Okay, so we've got that dashboard up here. And what we'll do, this great new feature of Chrome here, allow me to do split view. Isn't that cool, folks? Love this. So I've got the console set up on the left. I've got the app set up on the right. Let's take a look at the differences here. So right off the top, you can see that from the console, I've got this additional banner at the top. That's what helps me identify that I'm on the console, noting that I can click back into the rooms and I can manage and explore other devices. Some other things on here you can see there is a difference between the room statuses, okay? So on the console, I don't need to know that I'm on the network or that I'm on the console because, well, I'm obviously on the network and on the console because I'm talking to the device. However, in the room status, you can see here, and this is valuable information as you're setting things up. You plug your devices in, you get them on the network, you enroll it, and suddenly something here is showing different. Well, let's say, give you an idea. Well, if we've got a yellow dot, say, on console, it's communicating with internet services, but not the console. So we might need to use the network check tool. Solid red here, again, no communication with the with the Nureva console. So again, it's just we've got different information here depending on specifically what you're looking at. You've got green or gray for USB is basically on or off. The network again depends on solid red, blinking red, solid yellow. So there's a ton of information here if you're troubleshooting. Okay. Next up, we're going to look at tools. So typically, if I've got this as a full screen, this menu, of course, is down the left-hand side. And we'll show that here after we've explored the differences. But what I'm going to do now is I'll specifically go into the two different tools. And these are very much the same. So both of them have the network check, which allows you to do a full-on network check. And it's going to go through, it's going to scan your network to make sure that all of the sites that we need to be able to reach to do things like updates and help monitor and maintain your device are accessible. There's a full list of this configuration documentation available on our website. Again, support.nureva.com. This is a constant theme. Support@nureva.com or support.nureva.com, depending on what you need. You can set up devices. It's going to let you go through device setup, including some installation tips, device calibration, device update, and remote management information. And of course, if you need to reset your audio settings, this is the same on both devices. This is going to reset it back to its default. Okay, and we'll show you some of these settings that will be reset. Key thing to note here, restarting the device. Now, there's a differentiation between restarting the device from the console or the app and actually power cycling it. Restarting the device is just going to restart the daemon that the software runs on, and effectively, it's not power cycling your devices. So if you have an update and suddenly your device is not responding or not working properly, and you are in a remote location, somebody in that remote location will probably need to just power cycle that device, pull the power, let it sit for 20, 30 seconds, plug it back in, Bob's your uncle. You can download logs from the device. Absolutely. You can get support directly from here. If I click on this, this will bring me to a web form that I can fill out. And this is where we're starting to see a few differences here. You can unenroll devices specifically from tools. And here, I'm just going to click back for a minute here because I didn't show this before. This is how I'll remove a device from the dashboard itself of the console. I simply click remove. Okay, it's just like unenrolling the device by pressing and holding the factory reset button on the back. This is a bit of a softer way to do it because this will just remove the device from the console, whereas a factory reset will enroll the device, but it's also going to wipe any of your settings. So you may find that this device was perhaps enrolled in a previous organization. You guys are doing some changes in your space, and we need to migrate devices to a new organization. Typically, you would first remove them here, but if that doesn't work, you unenroll the device. And if you're still having problems, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to help with that. And that's sort of the big change on tools there. The last thing you get here is just a little bit about Nureva App. This will bring you to the documentation for the app itself. The next thing that I want to look at here is, oh, sorry, wrong button. Is as we go into settings, you can see this is absolutely consistent experience. I'm going to go through each one of these individually and kind of break down what they are. But the only other major difference here, okay, you can see everything else is the same for the most part. Here I've got some network information, which of course I'm already on the network, so I don't have over here. But here I've got some security information. So if I click on this, this allows me to disable the QR code access to the HDL 310. So you've got a QR code on the bottom you can scan, help you get that thing online. If you want to disable it, it's right there. The other thing, of course, on the other side here, for network information, specific to the app itself, allows you to set up either automatic, and this is by default, or you can set up a static IP address, because, hey, it's not a bad idea, especially when you've got a network that may change on occasion. That's really it. That's the main difference between the two. Very much the same experience. So again, the way to tell that you're on the console itself specifically is you've got this banner up top. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to close this view because we don't need to look at the console anymore. And let's go through and we'll just take a look at the differences. Oh, and one other thing, this is called room overview on the console. I missed highlighting that. So specifically, let's get into the settings here. So coverage map is just that. It's showing the coverage map for your room. I haven't set dimensions for this room. So if I'm doing my setup as part of my camera switching, for example, I definitely need to confirm my room dimensions. So here we'll go through and typically, let's say my room is about this big because I'm actually at my house right now. So this is relatively close to the room that I'm in. Actually, just have to shorten this up a little bit. Okay. And I will hit apply. Is my room layout correct? Yeah, absolutely. We'll hit confirm. That's going to go here and then that'll change up and save. So I'll just wait for those changes to apply. There you go, successfully applied. So I think I actually did this in the wrong dimension, and that's okay. It's important to understand that you note that this bar itself is always a fixed position, the very first bar. So as I get into the settings now, the audio and conferencing settings allows me to set a default profile depending on the UC and C client that I'm using. This will default Microsoft Teams. You can change it to Zoom rooms. And what this does is it just tweaks the setup a little bit in terms of your speakers and some of the processing that we do. I'll show that again here in just a minute. For microphone settings, if you've been to my previous webinars, you'll know that this is a fantastic tool. I love this EQ. It not only allows me to do a uniform gain adjustment in the space, bringing all of the mic pickup up at the same time, but I can adjust these sliders if I've got a reverberant room, for example, or maybe I've got a little bit of tinniness. I go in depth on all of these in our previous webinar. So if you want to find out more specifically about this stuff, please reach out and let us know. Happy to send you a link to that. Under audio processing, now this stuff I generally recommend don't touch it. You don't need to touch this until there's a concern. This DSP works very well. If you are integrating an additional system that has digital signal processing, turn that off. Let us do the DSP on our side. Our system handles it quite well. Again, you've got echo reduction, noise reduction, and calibration. Calibration happens upon installation and only if you move or change your system. Otherwise, of course, we're in that constant calibration. Under speakers, you've got the ability to set a custom profile or you can set dynamic boost. So the default for this is going to set the profile up like this. Custom allows me to change it. Hey, I like a little bit more bass in the space, right? Who doesn't like that bass? Or if I enable dynamic boost again, that's a 10 dB boost to the volume. It's going to bump it up quite a bit. Sounds great in the room. Local integrations comes into play when you want to have this device talk to something for camera switching, for example. You would enable your integrations, enter the IP address of the device that you're trying to talk to, and from there, it's a matter of following instructions for the specific camera that you're looking to integrate with. Under USB port, well, this is an interesting one. Occasionally we'll find a USB endpoint that doesn't really want to play nicely. We're absolutely compliant to the USB specification, but not everybody is all the time. So on occasion, some devices you'll find if you've got a connection instability, change this over to the full speed, and that will usually neaten things up. It slows down the communication a bit. It does not affect the audio at all. It just allows you to effectively maintain a stable connection. Adaptive voice amplification, more information on that in our previous webinar. This is effectively allowing you to use an external microphone and amplifier presenter. Camera switching is specific to the Cam 230. We did a camera switching demo there a little while back, and I went in depth and I showed every single step. So please, if you need information on that, again, let us know. We always want to talk to you guys. We love talking with our customers and our resellers, of course. Voice detection AI. If you've got a noisy space, perhaps your room is near your manufacturing floor, and you get those mechanical clings and clangs. What we do is enable voice detection. This is going to allow you to differentiate a little bit between the voices in the room and extraneous noises that are making their way in the space, or perhaps are in the space. And this will just allow that camera to effectively focus a little bit better on noise detection, or pardon me, the voice, because we're going to specifically focus on the voice in the room. I've already shown network settings. This is if you want to enable automatic or static IP addressing. The device password, The device password, again, by default, is that enrollment code that's on the bottom of the device. We very much suggest that once you've logged into the device that first time, you come down here and set the password to something specific to your organization, noting that you can change this on either the app or the console, and it's going to take effect immediately on, well, effectively both the access device. Finally, under device control, this allows me to, well, just to show you, I can set up a device control for my room. I enable this on a tablet or something else in the space. Right now, I've just got the simple mute button and, of course, the ability to change volume. I can lock this out as well instead of password. And this allows you just for device control in the room. And this is improving. We got more coming on this, folks, so stay tuned for updates in that regard. And finally, under devices, the ability to add things like external microphones or other devices. So in here, you'd come in, you would add in your camera switch, or perhaps you're using an analog output device or another IP connected device, like a camera. Okay, you add external devices there. And lastly, tools. Again, I kind of touched on this before. Things like the network check, setup device, reset audio settings, restart device, downloading logs, and finally unrolling the device. Again, that one is specific to hardware. If you need to remove the device from your console, just remove the device from the console. And that being said, folks, that's kind of bringing me to the end of the demo itself. And we're actually running a little short on time. I thought this would potentially be a little bit short on time. But last thing that I want to talk about here is specifically managing devices without a network connection. So if you can't connect over to the over the network, there's a few ways to do this. We can still absolutely access and help you maintain your devices. You can still use the Nureva app. You connect a compute device directly to the Connect module. You plug an Ethernet cable from that network port that I was showing earlier into the back of your laptop, or you can download the Nureva app for Windows on a dedicated in-room PC, and let's show what that looks like. So if I plug the compute device directly in to my laptop here, I will enter 169.254.254.254 into that browser window, and that's going to bring up this application. Give me full access, everything that we've just seen. But what if you can't use that network port at all? You just can't connect to it. Use the USB. We've got the Nureva app for Windows, and this is designed for managing devices without a network connection. You have downloadable software, just like our old console client, and this is going to provide access to all the features and settings on a dedicated PC, with the exception of anything network related. This removes the network portion effectively from your system. It's still active, of course, can be updated and all that stuff via network connection, but this is going to allow you for that offline management. So if you've got a PC that's connected to this device and you can remotely access it, you can then, of course, remotely update the application there. If you want automatic updates, though, it does need that network connection. And that being said, folks, to summarize, I've talked about multiple ways to manage your Nureva systems. There's a few subtle differences with a spelling mistake there that I totally missed between the app and the console, although these are minimal. And of course, there are ways to access the device offline. And I do apologize for running a little long here, folks. We don't, unfortunately, have time for a Q&A. However, if you do have any questions, please follow up with us at support@nureva.com. More than happy to help you out, answer any of those questions that you have. Unfortunately, we are at time for today, so please reach out to us if we can help, and I thank you very much for attending.